Welcome to the Gag Reflex.
Okay, now it's gone.
You tell me what you did down in Padre.
Bruh, I went down there on a party bus and got fucking slizzard with a bunch of Italians, like Guidos come here from the Jersey Shore. Bro,
Did Snooki show up?
I did blow off a Snooki's ass, man.
That's not even gonna show up.
I'm sure, wait here. That one showed up, and it's much louder than everything else.
Don't make it louder.
Yeah, no, and like, Snooki was like, oh man, Jack, you're the party king, and I was like, Snooks, I know, bitch.
I don't think I can name another character off of that show except for Snooki.
There's Snooki and, The Situation.
DJ Pauly something. I know that one.
That wasn't Pauly Shore, was it?
It might be.
I don't know. No,
That would make a lot more sense.
but no.
Dude!
Oh shit, that's good. But no, there's Snooki and The Situation were there.
The Situation.
That's his name, The Situation, because he's got the abs and he always calls him The Situation. Have you never seen Jersey Shore?
No, I haven't watched garbage television.
I don't know. I started watching it maybe in like the 5th grade, and I decided to model my life after it.
How far is that got you?
Pretty good. Like I'll pull up my shirt in public and show people like my 6 flab and be like, "Hey, check out The Situation," just like The Situation does on the show.
People just hand out flyers to like Weight Watchers and
Yeah.
They call it The Situation. They hand you.
Yeah, you do have a situation, friend.
they hand you the solution. I always got upset by that. You know how people at the mall, whenever you're in middle school, would come by, and then they would just, you'd just be talking to people, and then all of a sudden there's like model scouts there for middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? They were really creepy about it too.
I wanted to be the next Hannah Montana. Yeah. No, but I always saw. The scouts wouldn't come up to me, but what I would always see was those little things where you could fill out a form and put it in there.
Yes.
I'd always fill out like for Dick Baggins, and cocklover98@gmail.com would be like my email address and stuff.
No. Okay, so there was this experience that I had with my friend Chandler,
Mm.
and we were hanging out with. It was like one of his friends,
Mm.
and she just like. We were just walking around the mall, where the food court is, and all of a sudden this creepy guy came up and he had a bald spot about the size of a yarmulke.
Oh, very nice. Probably friction from the yarmulke.
Yeah. And he came up and he was kind of slouched over and he handed her a flyer and he was like, "Hey there, pretty face. I got you a flyer. Come by anytime if you want to show off your modeling skills." And it was probably the creepiest thing, on a par with Uncle Rico.
Oh my god. My friends and clients like to call me Uncle Yarmulke.
Yeah, he never mentioned the name, and the place looked really, like, phony, so...
That's sort of like, did you ever see American Beauty? With Kevin Spacey? Where
I think so.
the daughter is dating the neighbor who's selling pot to the dad.
Yes.
And he's having like a midlife crisis and everything. It's like there's the one girl who's always talking about how like she's going out on the weekends and banging a bunch of dudes so she can be like a model and everything, And then it turns out she hasn't been banging anyone, and like that makes Kevin Spacey super nervous, and he ends up not going through with it. But then the neighbor's dad kills him because he's gay.
Okay, maybe I haven't seen
Yeah, it's one of the classics.
Showed on TCM all the time.
Yeah.
You know how they have those...
They show the black and white version.
It's a little bit
more classic.
Just adds class. I feel like you could show anything in black and white, and it just adds like a whole nother level of class.
Well, like I feel like that's. Have you ever seen like a Jim Jarmusch movie? He did like Dead Man with Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like Coffee and Cigarettes with the white stripes and everything. I feel like his movies would not hold up if they weren't black and white. Like, you'd watch them and you'd be like, wow, this guy's super pretentious and his movies aren't that great, but because it's in black and white and he does it with all the old cameras and everything, it makes sense.
Right.
And it's sort of like the same thing we did with Frankenstein, the movie,
It just added a whole other element.
Right, it
Black
would have
and
seemed
white.
super amateur if it weren't in black and white.
Could have seen all
All
our
the
flaws.
filmmaking,
Oh no!
And definitely, Caleb's nip slips in the background would have been much more obvious.
Did we show this?
The nip slips?
I don't think that made
No,
it
it
into the
didn't make it
movie.
into the final cut.
I don't know why.
Almost.
I think that made it onto our phones and the internet. but
Yeah.
The less Caleb knows, the better. We need to bring him on this weekend, if possible.
He'll be on the next episode.
Because this podcast isn't going to be very regular since we have lives and.
Well, I mean, I don't have enough of a life. I'll start recording on my own if need be to keep it regular.
You're just gonna talk to yourself.
Hey there, my name is Jack. I'm here again to talk to you guys about life.
You can't use any periods.
No, it'll be like one big run-on sentence.
20 seconds of a mess,
Uh,
and then there's people on your doorstep.
well, that or
Torches
I can like record myself like playing video games, and like anytime something funny happens, I go, "Ha! That was real cool." But they won't see it because it's audio.
50 million views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racking in those SoundCloud followers.
I don't understand that, how people can upload. There's like a whole science as to why that got really big too. You know how gaming has become a whole other genre on YouTube?
I didn't realize there was a whole new genre.
It is. So
yeah,
you know,
I understand what you're talking about. Though, like those Let's Plays and everything.
right. Because they have like music, and they have sports, and they have like politics, I think, and gaming is one of them. And it even has like a game controller on
It's
there.
ridiculous. Like, I don't think there's much more boring out there than
Watching
those
people.
dumb like Let's Play videos on YouTube. It's just painful to watch.
Right. But there's a reason why they're popular, and the reason for that is because they're so quick to make. Because all you do is you record your reactions to a video game. It's
Right.
minimal editing.
Mm.
And, I mean, if you're funny, then it can
Yeah.
be enjoyable to watch. But whenever you're watching somebody who comments every 5 seconds about the headshot they just got,
Yeah,
it's not.
exciting.
No, it's really not. And it's not like them doing it. Although I wouldn't want to see that in real life, for example.
Yeah. Well, I remember that used to be the big thing because like I had up until maybe 7th grade or so, I had this iPod Touch, like 3rd generation. It's one of the old ones. And the thing is, when they came out with the newer iPod Touches, they stopped updating that one. So all the apps reached a certain point they wouldn't update any further. So, for example, I had YouTube. I had the best iteration of the YouTube app. It was super convenient and intuitive to use, and I could look at the top viewed videos for the week, or for the day, the week, the month, and all time, I think.
Right.
And, I always check out the top viewed videos of the day, and it was always just dominated by, like, Tobuscus plays Happy Wheels. Like that was the big thing for a while. Was Happy Wheels and Minecraft,
Right.
and that was really getting the traction. And then all the Call of Duty videos. Now it's anything and everything people can play. They're recording themselves doing it.
And most of it's like indie games to try and set people apart.
Right.
Because if you're still doing Minecraft, I guess the 8-year-olds have grown out of that by now.
I don't know. From what I understand, Okay, speaking of this is actually relevant. I was at Walmart the other day, hanging out, chilling with the Walmart employees because that's what I'm all about.
But you don't work there, right?
No, I just hang out with the employees. Like, hey, you want some help putting up those boxes? Sure, Jack.
Can you go home?
No, and they had. I was looking for. I want to say Risk. Was it like the board game?
Right.
And I saw next to it they had little Minecraft action figures. Which, whatever. Minecraft action figures, that makes sense. I look at them and I realize this isn't just Minecraft action figures. What they're doing is they're actually taking these YouTube people and they've made action figures of their Minecraft characters that you can buy in stores now. They're called, I think it was Tube Heroes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was just bizarre that that's a thing that's happening now. And then they had like plush versions of the same thing, like little stuffed animals. Like that's what every kid wants to sleep with, is some 40-year-old man who's playing Minecraft for their son to watch and be sleeping with him when he goes to bed.
Just think about those kids meeting that single person. And
I have your toy. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Oh, here it is. See, look. They've got a bunch of them. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Just
I mean, but
crazy
obviously,
stuff.
I mean, I think we do have to give those people a little bit of credit because they obviously know what they're doing, and they're doing it well to get such a large fan base. Because some of them are reeling in over 500,000 views. Even if you're getting over like 150,000 views each video that you upload, you're obviously doing something right.
Right.
I mean, and if you can get like that big of a fan base and you can support yourself on that, then I mean, I think you have to have some kind of talent. But at the same time, it's like I don't know how much work it
really takes. Yeah.
compared to
Like here's
a traditional job.
Here's you've got Ashley Marie Gaming, Jerome ASF, Captain Sparkles, and Vic Star 123. And on the box, it's got a thing you can scan for exclusive content. I assume some video they made specifically for the toys. What I think is funny is they've got this sticker on the box as part of like their advertising scheme that says over 5 billion views. Like, you think some kid's gonna look at that and be like, oh my god, you know what that means? That means this toy is legit. This guy's good at Minecraft.
Most of them aren't good at the game.
I don't know. Are they not?
No. Like,
I don't know. I was terrible at Minecraft when I played it. I couldn't build anything.
I don't know if that requires. I don't really know what the quota is to be
A good
expert.
Minecrafter.
Right. Because I thought the whole idea behind it is that it's a sandbox. And that's what's so appealing to kids.
My whole thing was I would always try to build something huge and awesome and bite off way more than I can chew and just give up like halfway through.
Realize this is impossible.
See,
and
so, yeah.
burn it.
So like I was good at gathering the materials, and then once it came to the point where I actually had to do something that required like thinking and not just clicking over and over and over again,
Right.
I wasn't sure how to deal with it.
So you're good at the mine part, but
Not the craft part, right? Exactly. It's 50% of the game.
Well, I mean, going back to Walmart though, have you heard what they're doing with their employees? Like,
What's that?
not giving them retirement benefits and letting them work like 39 hours.
Yeah, so they can get full time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walmart's messed up, but they'll always have my business due to their cheap pricing and friendly staff.
Oh, we're gonna get paid for this now.
What?
Just for that little.
Go to your local Walmart.
You said it like they were about to subsidize it.
No. I don't know. I don't go to the store very often.
I don't leave my house. I usually have my mom pick up my necessities.
Like the Hot Pockets and Mountain Dew and Doritos. But
I actually moved the kitchen into my room so I don't have to leave.
The idea, like, is the stairs, you know, all the calories that I burn going up and down the stairs, like, that's not, you know, a good way to build up a big enough punch to balance, like, my pizza slices on, so I can eat them with my mouth while I'm playing computer.
Oh.
It's a science. But when I do have to go to the store, it's always Walmart. Just because it's close and it's cheap as dirt.
Okay, so this could be totally wrong, but there was a lady, if I remember right, I was watching, it might have been the History Channel whenever the History Channel was on its decline, and I was watching it, and this lady was facilitating, I think this lady was upwards 600 pounds,
Oh, boy.
and she could not leave her bed, she was totally immobilized.
It sounds more like the Learning Channel.
I don't know what that is.
That's the Honey Boo Boo and everything.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, it was on TV. It was part of the garbage TV.
Yeah. That trashy, yeah.
Probably right after Jersey Shore.
Mm.
Anyway, she had a friend that would come and buy her pizza, and she would bring her like it said at a minimum, she would bring her the equivalent to like 3 pizzas a day, and this lady would put it down, and she didn't move.
That's so weird. Well, you know, I read about it. There was this big news story a few years back, and it was this woman was several hundred pounds, and like 3 or 4. I don't know if it was anywhere near 6, but she her whole deal was she had some sort of mental disorder, so she sat on the toilet all the time, and she just sit there, and her boyfriend would go and get her food and everything. And she sat there, and she was on there for so long that her butt, and she was getting fat because she wasn't moving, that her butt actually grew into the toilet, like around the seat. So when they finally found out what was going on, and they came to take her to the hospital because she wasn't healthy. They had to like cut her butt free from this toilet, like remove the toilet seat and take her to the hospital and surgically have her removed from her butt. How crazy is that?
you serious?
Yeah, no, I'm not making this up. I remember it.
Why would you? Okay, so obviously you said she had a boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Obviously that guy had to come in there and be like, "Hey, you've kind of been in there for a while."
No, like he knew what was going on, that she wasn't leaving the toilet. He was like helping her. I guess what's it called? When you know someone has an issue and you help them anyway.
I don't know.
They talk about it in Step Brothers.
Passive aggressive.
No, there's a word for it. I can't remember what it is. They're saying not important, not important. But yeah, like he I'm trying to remember the word. But no, he like knew what was going on and helped her continue into the cycle. He thought he was just helping her, but it was helping the cycle like continue to happen.
That's horrible. I guess it wouldn't be that bad after a while. I mean, you wouldn't ever have to go to the bathroom.
Well, I would assume you'd get infected because like your butt's growing into the toilet. So really, when you're like going to the bathroom, it's just staying in your skin.
Yeah, but then, it would just be held in the toilet, and you could just flush it whenever you want, and it just, you just find a field somewhere and flush yourself.
Well, you can't get up to go find the field. You're stuck to the toilet.
Well, they dismantled the toilet, right?
Part of the toilet. Well, that's after you go to the hospital, though, like the fire department came.
Right, but I'm talking about in between that. Like, there for a good bit, I mean, you kind of got a system going.
I guess. I don't know how much I'd want to be in that position, but I guess if I were in that position, like it wouldn't be like a bad setup. You know,
Yeah. You could definitely,
get something good going there for a while.
maybe.
Maybe. Well, that's sort of like did you ever hear about there was that girl? I think it was like a middle schooler, and her whole deal was she felt bad. She was like fat, so she took duct tape and taped herself so that she would appear to be skinny. For whatever reason, BitTorrent just opened up on my computer. I think it was some kind of pirate something. But no, and so she took all this duct tape and she taped all her fat in. And then the duct tape, the glue on there apparently was just mildly corrosive. Because she just kept taping more and more and more on there, it started dissolving her skin. So she had to go to the hospital. Like, imagine like how like awkward that would be.
Dude, I have a feeling that hospitals have seen worse. That's part of the reason why I want to go into that. Is
Just to
because-
deal with like fucked up shit.
Yeah, because I think it'd kind of cool. Just be like, oh my gosh, my dad has described some of the things. He would just like be like, this one guy came in and he doesn't ever give out names or any kind of personal information. He'll just describe the situation.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do this to yourself? He said that this one guy came in and he had a chainsaw that was sticking out of the right side of his ribcage.
Ooh.
Like, almost, parallel to where your heart is on the other side. It's like just right there and it was sticking out. And I was like, how does that happen?
Horrible. Like, well, you remember Powell? He was always talking about how, just for reference, that was the Austrian exchange student that our families co-hosted a couple years back. But he would always talk about his dad was a psychiatrist or psychologist, something, and they'd send these like people to him who like needed help and everything from like the asylum or whatever. And he was talking, and like seriously, like out of their mind people, not just like, this wasn't. These are the people who had to go there. They're mandated to go there by the state and everything. And he talked about how his dad would have these fish sitting in a little thing by the window, and about once a month he'd have to get new fish because at least one person would try and throw the fish out the window. How weird is that? But no, back to this chainsaw thing. I knew this guy, and he would always talk about all this crazy stuff. He did that. He did Doctors Without Borders,
Right.
and he was in Africa, and there was some tribal leader, just rural Africa, and there was some tribal leader who they get there, they ride all these caravans and stuff with different vehicles to get there and everything. They're finally there. They find out, the chief of this tribe had an axe or a machete stuck in his head, jammed in his down through his brain into his eyebrow. So they operate on this dude, doing what they can and everything, and they get it out and everything. And they're not sure, if he's going to be completely himself. But he was talking about it, and he said he came back a few years later. And he was back in Africa, and he saw this dude. And the guy came up to him. He had this big V-shaped chunk missing from his head, and like hair wouldn't grow around it and everything.
Right.
So he came up to me and goes, "Oh, you fixed me! You fixed me!" And like, how crazy is that?
That
Some of this, I don't know. I wouldn't want to deal with that type of stuff. Like chainsaw through the chest or machete to the head. It doesn't sound pleasant.
I just think it'd be kind of cool. I kind of like the gore aspect of it as well. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, there's just something about it that.
Like, come home to the wife and kids, little Billy, don't you play with the chainsaw or else it'll stick through your chest just like this guy I saw today.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll tell my kids about it. Scare them.
I think that'll be the way to, like, keep them away from doing bad things, They don't start doing heroin or else you'll have heart failure like this junkie I had today,
And I mean, all my kids are going to be 7 feet tall, so
Why's that?
they're all going to be, man
Superhuman?
or woman enough to deal with anything.
Right.
So at that point, I don't even.
You're gonna do, like, breeding, almost? Yeah.
Well, you see, like, if they don't grow to be 7 feet tall, I'm just going to either put them up for adoption or euthanize them. There's
Okay.
2 options. I mean, obviously they have to get pretty old by then, so I have to be pretty sneaky about it. But
Right.
I mean,
It's like they're 21 living on their own, and you sneak
Right.
in one night with a needle and put them to sleep.
right. And so I'll have about like 25 with-
Kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
and most of them won't know who I am,
Right.
so I'll have to keep track on
So
them.
you'll put them up for adoption and then euthanize them later.
Right.
Okay.
Well.
So they're not really your kids anymore, but you've still taken it upon yourself to condition them to this point.
That's not even conditioning. I might just sneak into their room and pull on their legs with rubber bands. And try and get them a little bit longer.
Right, like those in Indiana Jones, they tie the rope to the back of the head to make the skull longer. Like you're gonna do that with their whole body.
That's like, what was it called? Japanese foot binding? Do you remember that?
Chinese,
Chinese.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna do that except the opposite,
Right.
except for the whole body.
Oh man. And they had like, it was all like deformed and stuff like that.
And their foot looked like a little pancake folded over on itself. It's so gross.
I wonder if that's how people get. What's it called whenever your toes are on top of each other? Parkinson's?
Parkinson's?
Yeah.
No, that's not. Parkinson's is like where you shake.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure your toes cross on each other. Maybe you have
Oh, I
that as
have
well.
no idea.
But, because that's what
I mean,
happened with my
I don't
hand.
know enough about Parkinson's to dispute that.
I don't know how factual that is.
Right.
It could be true.
Right.
Plus, it could be true. I don't know, man.
I mean, it doesn't sound completely untrue.
People are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a new study came out for Trump and said that he's resounding with the uneducated.
No shit.
And they're all in the thing I thought was really interesting about it is that not only is he doing well with these people, but those are mostly the people that vote because the educated people feel that their vote doesn't matter.
Really?
So it's kind of, I think that'll change politics a little bit, at least the next time around. Just like, maybe if we just go crazy. I feel like this is just going to go downhill from here.
Right. Well, shit's hit the fan, and now it's just time for it to spray everywhere.
I think this is going to be the second week in a row we talked about this, but it's just getting scarier with each week.
Yeah. Well, I've said this before. I think he's a closet liberal. He's going to get elected, and for his inauguration speech, he's going to go up there, and you've all been duped,
Yeah.
And he's going to, my vice president's, Hillary Clinton, and now I'm resigning,
That would be really funny.
Because that's like so many people theorize that that's what's going on. It's like Hillary hired him to like rig the election for the Republicans and just mess everything up.
Okay, so setting that kind of playing off that a little bit. If you could make a political candidate, what would it look like?
What would they look like, or what would they be like? You mean,
Like
just in general.
Just in general.
Okay. Well, they say tall people are like better. So they're like for example, George Washington was the tallest of the founding fathers. Who was the first president? I ask you.
I'm sure it was
George Washington. Yeah. So we've got an 8-foot tall behemoth of a man.
8 feet?
8 foot. So he's taller than everyone, you know.
Okay.
So everyone's super, except maybe like Yao Ming. But like,
I don't even think he's 8 feet.
well,
Is he?
yeah, maybe not. Well, then it'd be like super cool to see these pictures of him like next to Yao Ming, right? You know.
He just dwarfs him.
Yeah, and he's got like the proportions of Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his heyday. So sort of like what The Rock is now, you know, just massive and ripped and everything, right?
I don't even think The Rock compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, let's kind of, you know, best of both worlds
Okay,
between those two.
yeah,
like
yeah.
the size of Arnold, but the sculpt of The Rock.
So Arnold, but with less steroids.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and but bigger. You know,
Okay,
just
yeah.
like more like, you know, better looking. And he, his whole deal is he's, you know, same deal as like Trump, I guess, just extreme conservative, you know. And he goes up there, and he gets super pissed about everything, and he just like he'll start like yelling at the other candidates and doing all these like, you know, he can be either party really. It doesn't matter if he's super conservative or super liberal. What matters is that he's an extremist, and he gets up there and he gets super heated and he starts making like personal attacks on the other candidates, and he just rips his shirt off. You know, so he's standing there and he starts doing that thing where, like, you know, they squeeze the one peck and then the other peck.
Right.
And that's like something for the rest of the debate. He's just doing that the whole time, like setting a rhythm to the entire thing. You know, and like someone like if someone tries to make like a personal attack on him, he lifts up his podium and smashes it over their head, and like so hard that they go flying through the stage into the ground. You know, but no one can prosecute him because you know bullets can't penetrate his skin. Because he flexes and the skin gets so taut that it bounces off like a trampoline.
So how is he still running if he's a murderer?
Well, because everyone's too afraid to arrest him because he's impenetrable. You know, he's the invincible man, and people are afraid not to vote for him because they know, and he's also super smart, and he's got a robot eye, and he can smell fear, and they know that if they don't vote for him, if they don't vote for him, he will hunt them down and shoot a laser out of his eye and incinerate them.
Okay, so I'm just struggling with how would people elect him if
Because they're afraid.
so everybody would just go ahead and put him on the ballot and
Yeah.
everybody would vote for him
Yeah,
because he's gonna murder all 350 million of us.
yeah. He'll wipe the U.S. off. You know, you either go down with him or you go down without him. But either way, you're going down. You know. But
So there's just whenever they film the debates, it's
he's like the Incredible Hulk, only not green.
right.
Yeah.
So in the debates, there'll be the other party candidate on the stage, all dressed nice, and it's just him, and
And
then
he will pick them up, grab their ties, swing them around his head, like you know that sling that David uses in David and Goliath. You know?
right, okay,
Like that, and then he lets go and throws them into the moon. You know. So they've got like on the moon. It looks like, you know, you look at it like through like a telescope, and you see like it looks like a series of toothpicks sticking out of the moon. It's actually all the candidates he's throwing up there. Anyone who questions his judgment. So yeah, that's my perfect candidate. What's yours?
so there's just so they have to get a new candidate every week because he just
Yeah, he's just the other ones aren't even like competition anymore. So then whatever the other party tries to genetically engineer a superhuman, but they come out there and like one arm's way too big, the other one's way too small. It's like the bad guys from those Batman video games, you know. They
right.
come out there, they're like, me, candidate, you know, and like they can't talk because like their jaw's all misshapen and everything, you know.
Right.
It's like you know if they botched Captain America and he just like whips him, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think mine would have to be, you know, have you heard about that Alaskan governor that's a cat?
That's a yes,
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, yeah, I thought that was Minnesota.
I would just I think it was Alaska. It was like a small place in Alaska.
Okay, but regardless, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
But
So
they elected a cat.
they
to run
elected
their
a
city.
cat because
Okay.
they didn't want anything to be done. They were
Yeah.
obviously very conservative. And
That's your perfect candidate.
that would be my perfect candidate, but I would make a few alterations. So, first off, his name would be No Name, because I mean,
Okay.
cute cat name,
No name. Okay.
right? And I dress
Mysterious. I like it.
and I would train it
Yeah.
so
To
that
do what?
here I'll explain it.
Mm.
So I train him. So I dress him up in my bedroom, right? And like I
How do
dress
you
him
dress
up.
him? Like a suit?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
put like a suit and I dress him just like Abe Lincoln. Like I put so like everything modern but with a top hat, right?
In a beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe I'll get a cap that makes it look like a beard.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And then I'll just train him to where he knows where to go and he goes to the same place every single time. And then there's just a shady UPS man, and he's my friend that will take this cat.
Okay.
And they put him in a box, and they take him wherever he needs to go, and they just put the box on the stage, and it's a different guy every time that puts the box on the stage. So
Always for the UPS.
right.
Okay.
So no one knows who this cat is, right? But he always goes up, and I've trained him to go and sit up on the podium for hours on end, and then he has a wire in his ear, and every time I go, then he knows to come back home, and he always knows where home
do they follow this cat home and like find out that you're the mastermind orchestrating No Name's actions?
Well, it's a cat, so they're slippery snakes, right?
Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So you can't track a cat. The cat's gonna do what it wants. So
Okay.
you turn a corner and all of his clothes are taken off, and then they see a cat.
They find the
now,
Abraham Lincoln costume like in an alleyway. They see the cat running on top of a building like Batman.
And then they'll like find a cat on the street corner of New York City, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is normal." And then,
Yeah, that's not the same cat that was just winning
right,
the debate. You know?
right. And so I think because most often than not, the people that are the loudest in the room just make themselves look like idiots.
No.
And so I think people would want to elect my cat.
Okay.
Just to see how far it goes.
I think what we can take from this, my idea and your idea, why isn't the candidate like a cat man?
just like a guy
Like
with
a
whiskers.
genetically engineered cat man.
He gets really nervous all the time.
Yeah, and he'll get nervous and just scratch the other candidates to death,
So
like the body of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but with like a fluffy cat head.
and
Just like Abraham
Wolverine
Lincoln.
type
Yeah,
claws
yeah.
that can just retract
Right,
or like
right. It's like same deal. You train him to you click your tongue and he comes home.
right.
He's just got the body of a man,
Yeah, so he wouldn't talk either, right?
Right, and his birth certificate, so people can't argue over whether or not he was born in the U.S. Just it's blank.
And everybody would know if. So they would still know if he's extremely liberal or extremely conservative
Yeah.
just by his mannerisms.
Right.
So,
It's for example, they'll say something like, we need to raise the taxes, and the cat man will lean in, he'll just, put one arm on the podium and kind of make eye contact with a bunch of people in the crowd and then go,
oh. It's okay. It has a word.
Yeah.
But
Very
or
good.
just make eye contact with the other candidate,
Right.
and then they suddenly change their political views. So
And then,
we should raise taxes,
Right.
raise taxes.
Or and then, every once in a while during a debate or whatever, he'll lean in and he'll go, someone get me a litter box. Like a super suave voice. Maybe even an armor voice, someone get me the litter box.
It's a full-grown man, and you just walk into. So what if you walked in right after that? So you're walking to the bathroom.
And there's a cat man using the urinal. Maybe makes eye contact with you, and then you're over there washing your hands, trying to keep away from this cat man. And he zips up his pants and gets down all fours and starts rubbing against your leg. How do you deal with that?
Okay, but not even that. What if he's washing his hands and he looks at you and you're like, the guy kind of looks like a cat a little bit, and then he gets on all fours and he walks away, and you thought, stuff happens. I could just be having a bad day or something like that. I don't know what I saw, but then you go into the stall and there's just cat litter everywhere. Because you know how they throw the litter behind them whenever they're done? Well, this man was just, it's obviously a man-sized proportion. They don't have a litter box big enough, so...
Right. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, just because they know he's going to be there, they fill up the entire bathroom with, litter. The floor, instead of being, linoleum tile, is just, sand.
Right. No one wants to cross him because they're still
They're too afraid. He's got that laser eye,
He still can smell fear.
Right.
He still has the laser eye.
He just has the head of a cat and the the tendencies that you've described.
Oh my gosh! What a man! We need to.
What party would this? I feel like he could start his own third party.
I think people would go with whatever he believes.
The feline dependent.
Totally revolutionize everything.
Yeah. Welcome to the 21st century, where cat men reign supreme.
And think about if that cat took office.
What would his inauguration speech be like?
You probably wouldn't have to give one.
Well, then he gets up there and he's got the Arnold voice and he just gets up to the podium and he goes meow like that's it.
It's like really thug though. Meow.
Meow meow man man.
And then they're just done.
Yeah.
We've elected a cat.
President Meowington, please take the stand. No, it was No Name. That's right.
Yeah, no name.
Well, and then like as the the placemats, you get your kids so that they can learn all the presidents and everything. You got George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and then his name is just underscores.
X-wing
Next time
at
on the
Deliciousness.
Gag Reflex.
Brickshot Tavernicus.